All right, welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. Merely Bo, the Great Z, Swag.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a reveal if you say that.
It really is. I guess I just did it.
I guess kind of did.
How would you look at that picture, how could it not be?
I mean, how could it not be? Yeah.
There's
he's
only
even
one.
made it up onto the TV.
Up there.
He's up there.
That's right. He's up there.
The great Senior Swag turning 50 mañana.
Fantastic.
What's it say on the back? Running a business?
Running a business. Fitty.
Just trying to run a business. That's all
That
he's
is
trying to do.
fantastic.
I hope we get to
Where's
a
he at?
guy. He's here.
No, he's got to be gone.
No,
Turning
he's here.
50.
He is here.
He's
That's
here today.
why we're doing
He's gone
this
tomorrow.
today.
Yeah.
You got to feel like
tomorrow
he's got to be at like Pause Up. He's going to like Pause Up, one and only Ocean Club, one and only Pavia.
I'd like to bring him in here. If we see him, we're going to wave him in here.
I would rather do that than literally anything else.
No, I don't know if that's true. I think that you would like.
There's one thing that we'd like to talk about.
There is.
By
one
the way,
thing, yeah.
I'm declaring right now,
Yeah.
with no spoilers whatsoever, we are having another trial Pedro on Friday. He did something that pissed me off yesterday, and we are having a trial about it.
It's
I
like
found
1
it
o'clock,
to
we're
be
dropping the P
egregious. Is that not allowed?
I don't know.
Is he going to claim double jeopardy because he's already been found guilty once?
This is a whole new crime. So
New crime?
New crime.
New crime.
New crime.
New crime. More heinous than the previous?
Yeah.
I mean, he did a false identity. We found him guilty of false identity the
Yeah.
last time.
Right.
Who knows
this
what he's
is more
capable of?
heinous.
All right,
This
sounds
is-
like Schwartz is
This
hitting
is
the
more
podium.
heinous.
All right, let's go to the podium, Jim Schwartz.
You're down.
All right, good night.
Tell me about the battle, the challenge that lies ahead in the chess match if you.
Yeah, I think a little bit is too much is made of chess matches. I play a little bit of chess, and the pieces always move exactly where they're supposed to move, right? I mean, you think you got checkmate, but your queen comes up one space short. So there's a human element to the whole thing, and we're just trying to put our players in the best position to be able to make plays. But certainly have a lot of respect for Kyle, gone against him for a long time. I think maybe 2007, 2008, when I was with the Titans, might have been the first time he was down in Houston. I think my greatest compliment to coaches is that they evolve over time. And I think that, what we defended back, in 2008 was a little bit different than, Houston, what he did in Washington, what he did in Cleveland here, what he did in Atlanta, and what he's doing in San Francisco. And he does a good job of scheming for his players. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. You're not out there trying to stop a play caller. You're out there trying to stop his players. And we're going to have our work cut out for them. They're a very, very efficient offense. They run the ball as well as they pass it. They're not a one-dimensional team. They can make big plays. They can also throw short passes and run after the catch. They have a lot of outstanding run after the catch players. Whoever it is, Samuel and McCaffrey and Debo. I saw a stat this week where they have one of the shortest depth of route in the whole NFL, but they lead the NFL, or they're second in the NFL in yards per pass. So it tells you that short passes are creating longer plays. So we're going to tackle well. We're going to tackle a lot better than we did against the Ravens. That was a big part of that game.
If you've seen his offenses over the years, is this the best supporting cast he's had?
I don't know. Atlanta, he had a pretty good cast with Julio and Matt Ryan and a lot of other guys in there, Sanu, and I don't know. He's had a lot of good players. This group stands alone. Every group every year stand alone. But I think probably the biggest thing that stands out is they have so many multi-purpose players, multi-position players. I think a common thing is people say positionless players. These guys aren't positionless. They have multi-positions. McCaffrey can be a wideout. He can be a running back. Debo can be a wideout. He can be a running back. Kittle can be a tight end. He can be a wideout. Juslick can be a fullback. He can be a tight end. He can be a wideout. He can carry the ball. So they put a lot of they put a lot of I don't want to say stress, but they make it where you just can't defend one thing. They can be in 21 personnel, 2 backs, tight end, and 2 wideouts, and they can make you defend 12 alignments, 11 alignments, empty alignments, 2 back alignments, and they'll all use their wide receivers to block. Their wide receivers do an outstanding job of blocking. So, we're going to have to play our game and accentuate our guys. We have some multi-purpose players that can do a lot of things. It's going to be a great matchup. This is NFL football at its finest. This is standing offense, a good defense. We'll be ready for it.
You just mentioned the Baltimore game. Was it you guys missing tackles, or did they see something in the first 3 games that they were able to maybe find a weakness in?
We did miss a lot of tackles. I think we had about 120 yards after missed tackles in that game, and I bear some responsibility. That's not on the players. I can get them closer to the play, and I think that can help them. But when it was all said and done, Jeff, my biggest disappointment from that game was right after the first turnover. We had started the game, we looked like us, right? I don't, if 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, we gave up a couple plays in there, but man, we were flying around and, we looked like us. And then we took the field after the turnover and, we have a missed assignment and we give up a touchdown on the very first play. And I think that's probably the biggest disappointment. You got a rookie at quarterback. We needed to have his back. We needed to hold that to a field goal right there. And, in my mind, that really changed the game. We could have gained some momentum. We got a red zone stop right there, held him to a field goal. And, I think it could have been different. We came back the next drive. We got a turnover, but we didn't play great in that drive. And, so that was probably the biggest thing. When the team needs us the most, we have to be able to respond. And I didn't like the way that we did. The players didn't like the way that went. We have a lot of pride, and we need to do better than that. And also, I didn't like the way we finished, or we didn't like the way we finished. After that last, it probably doesn't affect the game, but we gave up a couple first downs at the end of that game where we just got squirrely. We came out of coverage and we were undisciplined on some stuff, and we didn't look like us. We need to look like us. When we're at our best, it looks like 15 guys are on the field. Right, guys are flying around and playing together, and we might miss tackles, but the next guys are there to clean them up. So that's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, they did some scheme stuff that but we adjust to. We adjusted actually in the second half on a lot of it. But like I said, I think our job is to have the offense's back when they make mistake. I'm sure they feel like their job is to have our back when we give up a play. And that was probably the biggest thing in that game. We turned the ball over and we didn't do our job. We could hold them to a field goal right there, and I think that game changes. So we have a lot of pride as a group. Our guys aren't satisfied with their performance, and they know they have a big challenge this week, and they're looking to make amends for it.
The system seems to suit Purdy really well. What have been your impressions of him?
Well, I think it goes back to Tony's question. It's just Coach Shanahan, putting his guys in the best position. It's changed a little bit, depending on who his quarterbacks have been, the way that they, the way that they run things. And Purdy is a extremely accurate passer. He's got a quick release. And he anticipates very well, and he works the ball around. I think a little bit overplayed is the whole point guard thing, but he does. I mean, there's a reason it's a cliche, is because he does look like a point guard out there. He's finding the open guy. He's getting rid of the ball quick. He's putting the ball in position for guys to be able to run after the catch. So.
In terms of Myles Garrett going up against, at least part of the time, Trent Williams, just how amazing is Trent, and what kind of battle do you see between those two guys coming up? Yeah,
Tony mentioned a number of times I've gone against Kyle Shanahan. Trent Williams has been on the opposite side a lot of times, and that's a tough battle. He's been a a premier player in this league for a long time. I think he's 14 or 15 years. It seems like it's been longer than that. It seems like he's been around forever. Good in the run game and the pass game. It's not just the pass game that matchup is going to be important. They're a balanced team, and we need to do a good job against the run. So, it's really never about just a personal one-on-one matchup. They do a lot of different things scheme-wise. We have to do our job within the scheme. And but again, I talk about great matchups, and this is one. I think this is NFL football. And within that, you have individual matchups, and I'm sure that's one that the fans will be watching, and we'll be watching.
How different is their use of motion before the snap, and how difficult is that for you guys to do?
Yeah, I mean, about 80% of their snaps include some sort of shift or motion, including double shifts in motion. And I think, on defense, we do a lot of things to try to change the picture for the quarterback after the snap, right? I think that, that's important to us, just to try to buy us a little bit of time for our pass rush to get home. And sometimes, it's it looks like man, all of a sudden it's zone, or it looks like zone, it's man. It looks like, you're playing off and all of a sudden you're up, or, it's blitz, a surprise blitz, or you're up in a blitz and it's a bail. Well, they do the exact same thing with their shifts and motions. They present you a formation, and then all of a sudden at the last second change it to something else. It puts pressure on your communication and your assignment. So I think that, we have a lot of challenges in the game, but dealing with that kind of stuff is important. I would say this, it's much more difficult for them to do that on the road. And, when the fans are loud and it's hard for them, they've had a couple road games that the crowd really wasn't in it or got taken out of it. And we always take a lot of pride in trying to keep our fans engaged, and they can have an impact on the game because that stuff is so well timed and it's so well coordinated that if they're having a hard time with their communication, it can negate some of that. But, that's a huge part of this game, is dealing with all that different stuff. And it's not just on first and second down. It's not just run game. It carries over to the passing game. It carries over to third down. It's one of the things that they do, and and our job is to try to find a way to defend it.
The first play of the year that we don't remember is that Darius affected that first game of the year with the very first play. What's he been like since then?
Well, before I guess it was the Titans game, he was having a hard time warming up. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he had some back spasms before that game and things like that. But we don't just judge ourselves on rushing the passer. It's playing the run, and then also we view ourselves as a group up front. And I think you've seen this a few times this year where maybe one guy creates the pressure and somebody else makes the sack. And, we have an unselfish group up front. And, Z's had some pressures that other people have cleaned up the sacks. Does that change the end of the play? Probably not. Does it look different in the stat book? Yeah. But when you have unselfish players and guys that only care about results like Z does, I think it makes it a little bit, a little bit easier to deal with. We have to take advantage of the opportunities that we have, but particularly up front, we play as a group, and as long as somebody's making the play, we celebrate that, and we really don't care who it is. Okay. All right, guys, I got to run out the walk. All right, guys.
All right, there's your defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, at the podium. Always good to hear him.
I love him.
He's the best, man.
Yeah.
He's good. Very, very good. All right, we've got a lot to get to here on the program today. We are back at practice today. We'll get you an injury update, what we know, what we can tell you on that. Coming up next, we're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into the program. Hot Topics of the Day presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. I should mention Mailbag Thursday, so get those questions into.
Sure.
Give it. All right, where are we, health-wise?
Go ahead, Z. It's all you, baby.
Yesterday. I got it all out of my system yesterday.
I'm asking. I don't know.
I don't know.
Does anyone know?
No.
Okay.
Right now, I feel like everybody should kind of prepare themselves for.
Oh, I'm well prepared for that.
That P.J. Walker is starting at quarterback
Clearly.
for the Cleveland Browns. So where are we?
I was hoping
I don't
you
know.
were saying I was bringing a flask on Sunday.
Well, you're welcome to.
It'd probably be my last day.
You're welcome.
We don't
to.
want that.
No.
We don't want you on a T-shirt.
No.
Free Gibby.
Free Gibby. I would make free Gibby T-shirts though.
I would.
Like a mugshot Gibby. Does a mugshot exist of you? Good answer. Good answer.
It would be cool. That would make him the second person associated with the show to have a free blank shirt.
It would. Yes, it would. It very much would. Oh, baby.
We're just trying to have fun.
Doing
trying
the
to have
best
fun,
we can,
kids. That's it.
You're out here trying. All right.
are.
So in terms, is there anything else we're dealing with other than the quarterback stuff from an injury standpoint? Batonio, everybody's good on that side of things?
No, Batonio, I would not say that. Batonio's got a nice streak going that is very much in jeopardy.
Okay.
He had started
102.
102 in a row. He's in the 6,000 snap range. So we'll see. Believe me, it is very important to him to be out there if he can be. But will he be at this point? We just cannot say.
Is there anybody else? Well,
no, I think everybody else is good to go.
Everybody else should be good to go.
And Chief should be good to go. By the way, we need
ahead.
to talk about
Go
that
ahead.
for a second
Go ahead.
because he posted the images yesterday.
Holy cow.
I've always
God bless that
I've
kid,
always
man.
liked and respected him a great deal. It's been awesome to watch him grow up. Literally grow up. I mean, he was 20 years old when the Browns drafted him.
Yep.
To see him grow up into just a tremendous player, be rewarded for that, compensated for that, become a tremendous leader, and I think somebody with a lot of wisdom and passion behind his words that certainly carries some weight in the locker room. And then you put that and couple that with an action that is, I think really the only word for it is unfathomable. It is unfathomable to me. Like, I've burned my foot on a lawnmower really bad once, and I had a balloon of whatever coming off, and then anything that touches it,
Oh my God,
is miserable.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, based on what we saw, my experience is like 1/1 of what he was doing. It was on his face.
It looked like his entire face.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
It was his face. He wore a helmet and was getting hit by professional athletes. Led the team in receiving in that game.
Yep.
It almost defies what I know about toughness, pain tolerance. And just because when
Even a slight graze.
right,
on
it
a
feels like it
severe
rubs
burn
it
is
off.
like-
He's wearing
yeah.
a helmet
Yeah.
and getting hit. His toughness
And if
is.
it looks like that now, imagine what it looked like
I think
a week ago Sunday.
I think the first picture was fresh, was maybe kind of immediately after. And
I
then
did
the
not see the
second
first
picture was, I think, more recent because you can see a little bit of healing in the more recent one. There are two pictures in the post. The first one with shades, to me, seems to be very much in the immediate aftermath, like perhaps the condition in which he played, which is astonishing.
Why am I not seeing it on his page?
On his Insta?
Oh, I don't have the
You're
answer.
not on the Insta. Come on back, baby. Come on back, Bo.
Can't.
It is. I really think that's really the only way to say it. It is. It almost defies what I know about the ability of a human. Really.
Oh, okay. Now I see it.
Okay. So
yeah,
this is.
now I got it. Yeah, that is the one I saw. That
That's
is the one I saw.
immediately
So that's
after.
that's got to be right.
And that's
right
how
there.
he played. He played like that.
That dude is a dog, man. That's
it is
crazy
unbelievable
to play through that.
It's
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
God bless him, man.
Yes.
Going out there and battling for his team. That's incredible stuff.
Yes, it is incredible. So I don't think it could be overstated. I don't think it could be said enough, though, the amount of respect that I think that everybody in this organization has for what David Njoku did in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. Incredible. And I think it needs to be acknowledged, and that's why I wanted to make sure we took some time to acknowledge the man who was third in Browns history in receptions, yards, second in touchdowns at the tight end position, and just he had just he's well paid. He easily could have been like, I'm good. Nobody would have thought twice about it if he didn't play.
No, good Lord, no.
In fact, they probably would have been
post one photo and that's it.
Maybe he didn't play. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd just incredible.
This time of year, be careful with the gas outdoors, the outdoor fire pits, with what happens with gas and cold, and then all of a sudden that happens. That happened to Hannah Storm, the ESPN anchor. She was lighting a grill, doing some grilling outside, and was waiting for it to light, and had the gas accumulate. Couldn't smell it because it stays down, and then hit it and lit her up too. That's about a decade ago. So yeah, just be careful with that stuff, man. God bless him.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Incredible.
Unbelievable to have to go ahead and play through that. So that's there. The quarterback thing, I don't know. I mean, I know you said to prepare.
All right, so I've gone a little bit more into the PJ Walker archives.
I just think in general,
yep.
Like, we can say to prepare, but it's Thursday.
It is. So he's won 4 games as a starter. In the 4 games that he's won, 71% completion, 76% completion, 72% completion, and 63% completion. So 3 games in the 70s when he has been a winning quarterback. He has had in his last 3 of his last 4 starts at a quarterback rating of 80 or higher. His best game ever was against Tampa Bay last year, where he went 16-22 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rating of 126.5. He's got one 300-yard game under his belt. That was the overtime thriller against Atlanta last year. He's been pretty solid. His stats are kind of skewed. One game against Cincinnati last year. You remember that one where the Bengals were up, like Mixon scored 100 touchdowns in the first half. It was like 35-7, and they pulled him after that. And he was 3 of 10 for 9 yards with 2 picks and a 0 rating. So that drags a lot of the stuff that he has done well down. But in games that he has started, he's completed at least 62% of his passes in 5 of the 7. And the one that he didn't, one of the ones he didn't, ironically, was his 317-yard performance against Atlanta, where he had a rating of 80. So there is some hope, some optimism. He's obviously been able to play well at home in his career. He is 3-0 at home, so maybe there's something to that. He beat the Detroit Lions 20-0. He beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21-3, and he beat Atlanta 25-15 last year. And Atlanta Falcons seemed to beat us. So all 3 games that he's ever started at home, he is undefeated.
Unfortunately, none of the teams you just mentioned are the 2023 San Francisco 49ers, which is who we will play on Sunday. From the land of the Golden Gates, not a lot. From an injury standpoint, Elijah Mitchell did not practice with the knee. Very little else. Rest days for Kittle, Williams, and Greenlaw. This is a machine of an offense.
Yes.
They make everything looks so easy for them all the time, and they're just playing on another level. And it is interesting that when you think about them and you think about Miami and you think about a lot of the guys from the Shanahan tree, like it's just the window dressing stuff that adds to concepts which make it harder, make the defense have a split second of thought, and then when you juxtapose that with elite skill talent and incredibly efficient quarterback play, you have what they are, which is just a monster of a football team. I equated it to, it's like if you played Bootsy on Madden.
Yep.
Like he's not going to have a clue what to do on that, and that's what they do at the professional level. So this is a pretty comprehensive machine coming in here on Sunday.
They're good. We're one of the teams that can match up with them. They are not, as Jim Schwartz said, positionless. They have guys who can play multiple positions, and so do we. We have many similar athletes. Delpit, J.O.K., Rodney McLeod, Thornhill, Awok, guys that can have that size and the ability to run and move. And so that's something we're going to have to rely on dealing with this team. I saw a graph about how quarterbacks have performed against either perfect coverages or blown coverages, and then the size of their circle is how often they faced a perfect coverage versus a blown coverage. Watson's actually 3rd in the NFL, Deshaun Watson 3rd in the NFL against perfect coverage in terms of his success rate, behind only Brock Purdy and Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. He has not been as good against blown coverages, it says, but Brock Purdy's dot is like a pin drop. they've faced more blown coverages than any team in the NFL, and that is due in large part because of the fact that they run motions 82% of the time, and they are able to confuse people, and they are able to have the guy that you think is the fullback is actually playing tight end on this play, and the wide receiver is actually playing running back, and the running back's actually playing wide receiver. They're able to be multiple. They put those motions. They do it all so quickly that it puts a lot of stress on your communication and your assignments, and so this is going to be a big test, but we have the guys to match them, and we're going to have to try to do that. But listen, this team – I grew up in the Bay Area, as you guys all well know. The Niners won 5 Super Bowls, and they have a chance if the Niners win to win 16 regular season games in a row. That never happened at any point in the Joe Montana eras.
Yeah,
they had 15, never had 16. I mean, this team is doing things that are historic.
They're easy to root for, even if your son worked for the opposition. That's how fun they are to work. That's how fun they are to root for.
I think
that would
fair.
be the case.
I can't imagine anybody actually
very
do that.
Rare circumstances where all of those things would collide. Browns fans, Cleveland Browns Daily broadcasting live. Buffalo Wild Wings Menor, Tuesday, October 17th, 1 to 3. Reggie Langhorn will join us and sign some autographs. 2 to 3. Visit Cleveland Browns Facebook page and learn more. Jennifer Lechan joins us coming up next with the perspective behind enemy lines. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. preferred copiers and document services of the Cleveland Browns. You can tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Time to go behind enemy lines. Our friend Jennifer Lechan joining us, 49ers reporter, NBC Sports Bay Area. Jennifer, thanks so much for taking the time. I mean, this is a behemoth. Watching this 49ers operation through this first month. Obviously, the expectations were high, but have they so far even exceeded those?
I think so. I mean, when you look at what Brock Purdy's done, not even in a full season yet, how well he's played, I think he's kind of exceeded everybody's expectation. I think everybody knew that he was a good quarterback, but I don't know that everybody knew that he would take it as far as he's taken it through 5 weeks so far.
What is making this offense so special, so unstoppable? I mean, it looks so easy for them.
It's kind of the perfect storm, right? You've got a ton of star players across the board. So Brock Purdy has a really good supporting cast. And then you have Kyle Shanahan, who is just a master of scheming up the best ways to use his players. And I think with Brock Purdy's really quick decision-making and good decision-making, and then, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Kyle Juszczyk, and a really good performance by the offensive line thus far, I think there's just the way he schemes it up, I think it just complements the talent of his players perfectly.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's absolutely humming, and then it all works because they hit really the gold mine with Purdy in the last pick in the draft, and then even if there was some sort of thing with, even if you could call the Lance thing a mistake, Brock Purdy's right there. And there's a lot of times you hear about, hey, boy, Mr. Irrelevant, all of those things. But the way he's playing, like, we're a long ways into this now, Jennifer. This is very real. At what point in covering him did you get past the idea of this is an interesting little novelty to, oh, my gosh, like this guy might actually be like an all-pro type player?
I mean, like, really, when he took over for Jimmy Garoppolo and the offense actually kind of got better. It didn't skip a beat at all. And the fact that he was able, without hardly any reps throughout his first year, to be able to take it and go all the way to the NFC Championship game. And really, they played really well until he wasn't in the picture. So, I mean, when we were in Arizona for the Super Bowl last year, just for coverage, I spoke to his parents. I spoke to his high school coach, his high school teammate, and they said he's been like that since the beginning, since they knew him back in high school. He is a preparation junkie. He is obsessed with the game of football, which makes him such a better quarterback because he reads defenses. He makes decisions quickly. He's faced challenges in his high school and college careers, which has made him better. I think sometimes when players don't see any adversity in high school and college and it just comes to them so easily, I think they're almost at a disadvantage sometimes, relying only on their physical talents. And Brock Purdy has really had to, fight, claw, scratch his way to where he's at. And, it's made him a very successful high school quarterback, and it's made him a very successful college quarterback, and now in the NFL.
Hey, he's never lost. It's like LeVar Ball.
Never
lost. How comforting is it for him and really for this offense in general with what they're getting out of Christian McCaffrey? Leads the league in touches, scrimmage yards, touchdowns, rushes, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, all of it. I mean, you look at what he's done in his 16 games with the Niners, 1,888 total yards, 18 touchdowns. He's scored in 14 straight games. I mean, he's playing the best football of his career, it seems like, even though he had that monster season back with Carolina. Why is he so good? How are they, the way they're using him, which is he is the engine that is driving this whole thing, it seems to be, as you said earlier, a perfect storm even for Christian McCaffrey.
It really is. I think Kyle Shanahan is using him the best way possible. And then speaking to Christian McCaffrey, he shared that he didn't know, not that he didn't know the why of every position, but he is really forced with Bobby Turner as his coach to know everybody's job on the field. So he knows all 11. So every person's job on the field, and it opened up the why to him. And he's become, I guess, more obsessed with what happens on the field as a whole. So while he wasn't necessarily coached up on that previously, and that's not a knock on, the Carolina coaching staff, it's just kind of a way a lot of teams operate. Bobby Turner makes sure that every running back he has knows exactly what everybody's doing because it makes more sense for the running backs. And then Christian McCaffrey has also been taught a little bit more patience, letting the play evolve, letting the linemen go to where they need to go to open up the holes for him. And instead of just hitting the hole or hitting the gap as fast as you can. Sometimes it takes a little time for the play to develop to open up the bigger hole for him to get through the line. Now, previously, I think he just hit whatever he saw opening as soon as possible. It's a little bit different with Kyle Shanahan's scheme, and I think after having a full off season to study the playbook and to really get to know what's going on for the 49ers offense, it's really helped him out, and you see it on the field.
In this offense, we know that McCaffrey's going to get it. I talked about he's leading the league in touches, but it feels like, Ayuk is playing a big role, but he's got 2 games over 100 yards and then 2 games where he hasn't done much. Debo's had the big game when Ayuk was out, but other than that, not much. Last week it was Kittle's turn. He gets the 3 touchdowns, tying a career high, but those are his 3 for the whole season. How are the weapons, and is it just a matter of winning cures everything? But is everybody, do you feel like happy with the fact that they're going to have some good games? They're going to have some games where the ball's just going to go somewhere else because Brock Purdy is just so good at having the ball go where it should based on what the defense is doing?
I think it is entirely based on what the defense is doing, and I think that kind of reflects on how great of a coach Kyle Shanahan is at scheming his offense because, we've talked to players and they've said, I thought it was going to be a big week for me and it was somebody else. So then they didn't think it was going to be a big week for them, and then it ends up being a huge week. Like Kittle, I think, thought the previous week was going to be a big one for him, and then it ends up being against the Dallas Cowboys. So it just kind of depends what the defense throws at the 49ers, and then they kind of adjust as they go along, and that makes whoever it is on the offense be the star of the show. It's kind of the hot hand type of take, but really I think with all of those stars, they can't, a defense can't double team everybody. They can't without leaving somebody open. So there's always going to be someone who's going to get their chance, and I think as long as they're winning, they're happy with it. Of course, they would all like to have all the catches and all the touchdowns, but I think they're pretty happy with spreading the wealth around.
Jennifer, we spent a lot of time obviously talking about this offense, and we think we have a pretty dang good defense over here and one that can do its best to match up with it. The teams that have had success against the 49ers when Purdy has started, and we acknowledge that that's been very little, but the teams that have provided pushback, what have they had, and do you think the Browns have some of those components?
Oh, absolutely. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to provide the biggest challenge for this 49ers offense that they've seen yet this season, maybe even since the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game last year. It's a really good defense, and I think when things are disguised and maybe even blitzing, I mean, Brock Purdy has done well against the blitz, but it took him a while to adjust to it. So I think disguising things as the Browns have done in the past is going to be a challenge for the 49ers offense. I think it can be done, but it's going to be a tough job.
It is going to be a tough job for everybody involved in this game. I think both sides, I think that's a great matchup. Flipping it around to the Browns offense, and obviously we don't know who will be playing quarterback for the Browns yet, but it does look like it could be P.J. Walker. This defense loaded up front. Bosa, you mentioned the Eagles. Well, you said, we'll just take Javon Hargrave and bring him to our team. That's what they did up front. You got Warner and Greenlaw. You got Hufanga on the back end. But are the corners kind of the one area that are maybe a little bit of a question mark right now? Like, is there any weakness to this team? And if so, where is it on this defense?
I think it might be the nickel cornerback just because it's been kind of rotating off and on. And usually, I mean, like also last year they had Jimmy Ward, which is one of the best defensive backs in the league. But I think this year with Isaiah Oliver in there, he's done a good job. But I think with them rotating him out, that says that they're not, he's not the guy that they want in there 100% of the time. Also, another weak spot is maybe the side of the defensive line opposite Nick Bosa. Now, they just got Randy Gregory, so it remains to be seen how much he'll play. But that other side of the defensive line hasn't had a whole lot of production. Drake Jackson had a really good week 1, but then since then he hasn't had a lot of pressure. So that side, if it, and Nick Bosa plays on both sides, so it kind of just depends on where he lines up. But the side opposite of Nick Bosa might be kind of a little chink in the armor.
I like that drop in. They just get Randy Gregory. Oh yeah, that's fine.
Do we think we'll?
Good grief! Another one.
Do you think he's going to play a lot in this game?
I think they're going to work him in and see how he goes. He spoke yesterday and said he's really excited to be in the building and wants to play. And he watched the game from his house in Denver, and he was like, "Oh, can't wait to be a part of it." So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, if he's a quick study for Chris Kasarik, I would bet he plays at least 30-40% of the snaps.
Jennifer, thank you so much for your time. Always enjoy the conversation.
No problem. You guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see you out there.
Absolutely. Jennifer Lechan joining us, 49ers reporter, NBC Sports Bay Area, joining us there. Look, this reminds you a lot of their talent is more so on the offensive end, although that's loaded on the defense too.
They have a first-team All-Pro at all three levels of their defense.
It reminds you of when the Patriots lucked into Brady, and you're not paying him. The only difference is the Patriots were still paying Bledsoe as a franchise quarterback in those early years. But when you don't have to pay the quarterback, then you can spread that wealth out everywhere, and they have it everywhere. You're going to go out, you do the best you can with a healthy, coming off of the Tennessee game, Deshaun Watson. You feel like, boy, this had a chance to be something. Still does, but it's going to take a nearly perfect performance out of our offense to be able to keep pace. And our defense can match up with them. As you listen to her talk about the things that they do well, we have a lot of things that are antidote for that. But the question is, can the other side of the ball do its part against – there is no drop-off on the other side for San Francisco. They're loaded defensively, in addition to the offensive stuff.
Bosa's an All-Pro. Hargrave is a Pro Bowler. Warner's a two-time first-team All-Pro. Hufanga was a first-team All-Pro last year. So they have a first-team All-Pro from last year, including the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, at all three levels. Yeah, they're 5-0. They're beating people by 20 points a game.
Yeah.
They've scored 30 or more in 8 straight games. So Jim Schwartz has had a good history against this team, against Kyle Shanahan. But this is a tall task at full strength. It is a taller task if you are not at full strength. They are a very, very good football team. And for the Cleveland Browns, this is going to be as big a test as you can have. Now, it's also an opportunity to make a massive statement. I don't think right now there is anybody giving the Browns a chance to win this game.
No.
The Niners will lose at some point. They will lose a game they should have won. Why not this one? It would be great. I think everybody would feel amazing if we were 3-2. You'd say, okay, well, we won this one that we shouldn't have. We lost the one of the Steelers we shouldn't have, but it all that evens out in the wash, and we're in a good place. But you're going to have to bring it. You're going to have a clean game. P.J. Walker is going to have to take care of the football if he is your starting quarterback, or Deshaun will if he is your starting quarterback. Your line cannot have the breakdowns that they have had recently, specifically at left tackle with Jed Wills. You might not have Joel Bitonio out there. It might be Michael Dunn. So you've got to be – this is going to be an all-hands-on-deck game. It's going to probably take a game-changing play defensively or on special teams. And then you have a somewhat of a chance. I do think watching their offense against our defense will be an unbelievable matchup.
Yeah.
You know, they're number one in basically everything. Our defense is number one in basically everything in its own right. Number one on third downs. Number one on the 3-and-out percentage. We're forcing a 3-and-out on 60% of our opponent's drives.
Yeah.
Number one pass D. Number one completion percentage allowed. Number one pass defense allowed. Passing touchdowns allowed. Number one total defense. Fourth fewest yards per game allowed through 5 weeks since 1970. I mean, this team is playing at an elite level on D. We gave up, 2 drives of 40 yards against the Ravens? That was it. 7 3-and-outs and a turnover. Like, that game was – you didn't have the offense. And so that's going to be the challenge in this one is can you get enough offensively to stay close in this and then maybe be able to get that one game-changing play that, you know, hopefully Miles will do what T.J. Watt does in a close game in the fourth quarter and do something insane, and we're off to the races.
That's the way it's got to go. When a medical mistake causes your injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk's proud partner, your Cleveland Browns. We will do the matchup, our defense versus the 49ers offense, coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns, Avocados from Purdue, and Meyer want you to enter the Ultimate Football Sweepstakes. Your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning Electric pickup truck, a VIP tour of the Cross Country Mortgage Campus, or a $1,000 Meyer gift card. Visit your local Meyer, clevelandbrowns.com/avocados for more. Time for the matchup. Presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. It is our defense versus the 49ers offense. Dr. Z.
Well, they are good, are the 49ers. They are right now number one in EPA per play on offense. They are number one in shifts and motions. They are number one with multiple running backs on the field. So that is how they are so multiple. That's how they are so tough. When you look at their offensive ranks right now, they are number 2 in points per game, 33.4. Number 3 in total offense, 403 yards a game. Number 3 rushing offense. Number 8 passing offense. Number 3 in time of possession. They're really good. Oh, turnover differential, +7. They are number 1 in the NFL in that as well. We're -7, by the way. So they have had the benefit of 14 more takeaways than we have, basically, which is, I mean, over the course of 5 games. That means that's like 3 a game they're doing better in their turnover, and that's been really one of our big
typically win
Achilles heels. That's right. Man, here we go. They are led by Brock Purdy. He has won 10 straight games to open his career, the longest streak in NFL history. Another nemesis of ours, Ben Roethlisberger, 15 straight wins to open his career. Purdy is at 10 on the season. 72% completions, 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 9.3 yards per attempt, and a rating of 123.1. Has he been good? Is that a real question? Well, I'll tell you. Yes, in fact, he has been good. The rating, 123.1, that leads the NFL. The 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, that leads the NFL. Second in the NFL in completion percentage, yards per attempts, and total giveaways. He has just 1. On tight window throws, when there's less than a yard of separation, he has a rating of 115.4. That's, you guessed it, best in the NFL. On throws of 10 or more yards in the air, number 1 in completion percentage, 72.1. Number 2, yards per attempt, 15.5, behind only Tua. Touchdown interception ratio, 7-0. That's first. Quarterback rating on throws of more than 10 yards in the air, 158.3, which is also known as perfect. There's
perfection.
158.4 doesn't exist. That is the cap. That's where he's at, 158.3. On throws of 20 yards or more in the air, he's averaging 18 yards an attempt and has a rating of 142.4. He's not a dink and dunker. He can throw it to every level. Every level of the field. With a win, he'll become the 6th quarterback in NFL history to win 11-plus games to start as a first- or second-year quarterback. The record 15, as I mentioned, with Ben Roethlisberger. How about this? Clean versus pressure. Like, where can we hurt this guy? Clean pocket, 82% completions, 130 rating. Under pressure, down to 50% completions, but still a 102 rating. 4 touchdowns, no picks. Off of play action, he's especially deadly, averaging 11 yards per attempt with a rating of 151. He's thrown the ball in 2.4 seconds. That's 3rd fastest in the NFL. Over the middle of the field, he's the best in the NFL. 0.7 EPA per attempt. That's number 1 by more than double the next closest quarterback. So he is incredible, and he's got incredible weapons. Deebo Samuel back in 2021 became the 3rd player in NFL history with 1,000 yards receiving, 5 receiving touchdowns, and 5 rushing touchdowns in the same season. Christian McCaffrey leads the NFL in touches, scrimmage yards, touchdowns, rushes, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. In his 16 games with the 49ers, by the way, they're 15-0 when he starts. That's the 15-game winning streak they're on. Never lost.
Never lost.
1,900 total yards and 18 total touchdowns is what he's done for you. He has scored a touchdown in 14 straight games. If he gets one more, he will tie. Right now, he's currently tied with Emmitt Smith. One more, he'll tie the NFL record of 15 straight games. O.J. Simpson, John Riggins, and Lenny Moore, all halves there in terms of what he's doing. Oh, and then there's Brandon Ayuk, who's actually their leading receiver this year, despite missing a game. He's got 21 catches, 378 yards, averaging 18 yards a catch. He's got 2 games already with more than 129 yards. He's got 2 games under 60. Then there's George Kittle. How about this stat? Brock Purdy's thrown 22 touchdowns in the NFL. 10 of them have been to George Kittle. He has 10 touchdowns in 10 games with Brock Purdy at quarterback this year. Second on the team, Ayuk has 4. Christian McCaffrey has 4 as well. So that's who they are on offense. If there is one silver lining, because their left tackle, first ballot Hall of Famer, Trent Williams, and that was the Hoff said he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He said he has it all. Size, power, speed, technique, nastiness, all of it. Yep. Elite. The rest of the offensive line is not great. Out of the 155 offensive linemen that have played 50% of their team snaps this year, they have 3 of the bottom 21 in terms of pass blocking. Spencer Burford, second worst. Brendel, the center, 16th worst. Banks, the left guard, 21st worst in terms of pass blocking grade. And in fact, their other starter, the right tackle, Colton McKivitz, he is the 40th worst. So they have 4 guys who are in the bottom 40 out of 155 on their line. Trent Williams is obviously near the top. You are going to have to disrupt them with pressure, getting him into obvious passing situations, and forcing him to hold the ball longer than he wants, allowing Myles Garrett and Obo Okoronkwo and Zadarius Smith to get home. We're going to need this to be a game where maybe MJ Emerson or Greg Newsome gets their first career interception. We are going to have to take the football away from this team. Again, I like the matchup with our line against their line, very much so. Zadarius against Colton McKivitz, that has got to be a big win. I'm expecting him to get his first sack with the Browns this game, even though he is second on the team with 13 pressures. He hasn't translated that into a sack yet. For example, though, or in contrast, Obo Okoronkwo has 6 pressures this year, 2.5 sacks. So he is maximized when he's gotten there. Yeah. Zadarius is there a lot, hasn't been able to get the quarterback down. This is going to be a tough game for our linebackers. You're going to need J.O.K., who's got 5 tackles for loss the last 3 games. He leads the team in that category. You're going to need him. You're going to need Anthony Walker. You're going to need your good eye discipline, and then we're going to need sticky coverage because Debo can take it to the house at any point. Ayuk can take it to the house at any point. McCaffrey can take it to the house. Kittle can take it to the house. They're excellent. They have scored on their opening drive in 7 straight games. They have scored on their opening drive. Not scored a point, scored a touchdown on their opening drive in 7 straight games. They have scored 30 or more in 8 straight games. They have won 15 straight games. They are very, very good. But on any given Sunday, and so is our defense. Great. Even better. Yes. Our defense is elite, and this is the irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
I like it. 2 things just happened in the last couple of minutes while you were doing that specific and spectacular matchup. Deshaun Watson officially not at practice today, and which isn't, I don't think, a surprise to any of us. But then also this from Andrew Marchand of the New York Post. How about this? Pat McAfee pays Aaron Rodgers millions for his exclusive interviews. That surprises me.
That surprises me too.
Yeah.
Well, now I understand why he continues
now
to
you
do
get
them.
It. Now it makes sense.
And
he does it every week.
And he says wild stuff that brings more and more attention to McAfee. So it's advertising.
Everybody wins in that respect in terms of – but that surprised me when I saw that.
Yes and no, because I know like when he would do the weekly Wisconsin radio hit, he was compensated extremely handsomely.
For sure. I wonder if it was always this way or if it started out organically and then it became that way. I bet it was that. I bet it started out, hey, buddy, do me a solid, and then all of a sudden, wow, you're making a lot of money from such and such. Maybe I deserve a little bit of that too.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it weekly for you, but there's a price.
Now we got a little bit of a price.
Sure.
For it. All right, we will hit you with the second hour of the program coming up next. It is a Mailbag Thursday edition of the program. We got a Thursday nighter tonight as well. One of 3 big numbers, by the way, this weekend. This week.
By the way, yesterday a little.
How'd you do?
What was I? 10 and 5.
10 and 5.
Yeah.
Did you get all 3 bigs?
No, I was too big on this one. I was at 14 on this one. And I think it's
this one, the
10-ish.
Seattle Bengals game.
And I had the Chargers favored over the Cowboys, and the Cowboys were our favorite.
Our favorite over the Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hit you with your fantasy minute coming up next. Hey, I'll have you do one for NBC.
Good, let's do it.
He's got one. He's
break down
his
team.
He's got it. Well, no, we don't need to do that. I don't need that on the public record. But we'll do we got to get a quarterback. We got to pick up in this ridiculous league where all these kids draft 3 quarterbacks. Second hour up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Dog Pound Milk Bone has created the ultimate collector's item for you, and it's guaranteed your dog's going to love it too. Stop by the Team Shop, Cleveland Browns Stadium, Saturday beginning at 10 a.m. to grab your limited edition Browns-branded Milk Bone box. Browns legend Josh Cribb's going to be signing autographs 1 to 2. SJ and the Pups will be there 2 to 3. For more information, check out the Cleveland Browns Facebook events page. Inventory is limited. Make sure you make plans now to secure this exclusive box of treats for your pup. Saturday for the official pet treat partner of your Cleveland Browns. Buddy Garrity progressing nicely from his snippage on Monday, and as far as he's concerned, he has no ill effects.
Good.
They said no running for 10 days. Oh, no, you can't stop him.
It's all right. I found my dog
down
down in our retention pond playing with a dead possum.
Let's go.
Oh.
Come on. What a win.
7:15 this morning, washing
nice.
the dog in the driveway.
You went, oh, boy.
She just reeked.
Reeked of dead animal.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Great.
All right,
the best move, by the way, I did, and I would strongly encourage you to do the same.
Give it to me.
I actually have hot water outside.
Yeah, I did that. You got to do that.
It is a game changer.
Yeah, I did that. We got
especially once mud season comes.
Yeah, it's gross.
Gross.
All right, the Fantasy Minute presented by Scaleco Capital. Scaleco Capital, investing in scaling companies locally. And for that, we bring back Dr. Z. Gibby wants to know who's a one player people should be adding this week. Well, waivers are probably
They're
done.
over,
It's
Gibby.
long gone. Who should they have added?
But if somebody in your league added that Emery Mercado or whatever that guy's name is, and Keontae Ingram is still there, just give him a look if you need a running back. And the other guy that maybe went through waivers in your league and nobody picked up was Jeff Wilson. Devin Achane went on IR. Wilson's eligible to come back off of IR. And I think, last year he kind of settled in as a 1A, 1B with Mostert. And that offense feels like it has enough for everybody.
All right, here's one for you from NBC. So as we mentioned, he had Aaron Rodgers.
Sad.
And then that didn't go well. So then he picked up Jordan Love, and up until last weekend, that went pretty well. But the Packers are off this week.
Yep.
And remember, this is a ridiculous league where all these little 11-year-olds drafted 2 quarterbacks and just keep them on rosters for no damn reason. Here are the available quarterbacks to play this weekend.
Okay.
Baker versus Detroit, Garoppolo versus New England, Carr versus Houston, Bryce Young, Miami, Minshew, Jacksonville, Tannehill, Baltimore, Dobbs, Rams, Daniel Jones, Ritter, Mac Jones.
I don't think you have that.
Zach Wilson.
I'd probably take my shot with Gardner Minshew.
Hold on. I don't think Minshew.
Yeah, Minshew is in because
but
Richardson's out.
I don't know if you've got the right.
No, I think I do.
No, the Ravens play the Titans.
No, I said him next.
Oh.
I had Tannehill at Baltimore.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Minshew plays the Jets.
Minshew has the Jaguars.
Okay.
I think
Is
Minshew.
it? So is it Minshew?
Yep. Minshew 1.
Minshew or Carr?
No, Baker
not Carr.
would be
Baker 2?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard selling him on Minshew.
Well,
It's the power of the stash, dude.
Minshew puts up number. I think Minshew is the right one comfortably, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
All right.
Ridiculousness of that league.
That's absurd.
But then you look like the fool when you're the one saying don't draft 2 quarterbacks, you bozo.
And then
he wanted to draft
one
one in the 11th round.
Moves?
Yeah, there's a limited amount of pickups. So they all just have these quarterbacks who don't play.
I feel like he should be
15 weeks.
I feel like he should be able to trade with somebody.
Well, his whole operation's been decimated by injury.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, all right, that's what we'll do.
What is his record, though?
He's first in the league. Well, tied for first in the league. So he's doing fine.
He's got Uncle Nate.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can.
We're
doing the best we can here with this situation.
All right. Running backs for this week, guys that I like. Obviously, I'm going to tell you about Dave Montgomery. I'm going to tell you, the outrage on Twitter that exists right now for the fact that they are featuring David Montgomery over Jahmyr Gibbs when they drafted him 12th overall. Jahmyr Gibbs, if you watched them last year, Dave Montgomery is just being Jamal Williams. And Jahmyr Gibbs being DeAndre Swift. It's so obvious.
And it even happens in like the fantasy projections week to week. It's like even like the Yahoo isn't updated to like what he is and the way they use him.
Montgomery goes for 100 yards and scores a touchdown every game.
Every game. Yeah.
Sometimes.
And he's getting everything inside the 5, the 10,
all of it.
All of it. In fact, this week, and you pointed this out, I don't know if people remember this if they were listening, he actually came on. No, you stay
Let
in.
Craig Reynolds get a touchdown because it was a blowout. Yeah.
I've eaten enough.
Yeah. Obviously, you want to go with those guys. I think Mostert becomes a must-start against Carolina this week. Kamara is back, and you roll with him. Breece Hall, just start him against everybody. I know the Eagles are tough. You start him against absolutely everybody. Flex kind of starts for you. I would probably stay away from the Cardinals situation if I could avoid it. Justice Hill, I think, might be an interesting flex option in a PPR league. I don't know what to make of what happened in Indianapolis last week. Like, I feel like, why would they not keep giving the ball to Zach Moss?
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Like, I mean, at some point, John Taylor's got to be the guy who gets 30
you
carries.
paid him.
Yeah.
After making a big stink about not paying him.
Yeah.
And then you didn't play him.
No. I would imagine that he'll be back this week. Deontay Foreman, Roshan Johnson, people to watch with the Bears against Minnesota. I don't know exactly how that split's going to go, but I think both could potentially have value for you with Khalil Herbert out in that one. Wide receivers, it's the guys you know. Obviously, you're starting them. If anybody's still not starting Adam Thielen, start Adam Thielen. I mean, this guy every single week gets 1 billion targets. So he's had at least 8 targets and 7 catches in 4 straight games. Like, automatic in your lineup every single week. Play Adam Thielen. He is a must-start for you. Calvin Ridley's been looking good. Jordan Addison, I think, becomes a must-start now for the Minnesota Vikings with the fact that you've got Jay Jetta's out. I like Michael Pittman against the Jags. He's starting to get a lot of looks as well. Zay Flowers, I think, has reached the point where he's kind of a must-start. And so is Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is playing very, very good football for the Buffalo Bills and being kind of what we thought he was going to be a year ago. And I think you got to keep rolling with him. He's scored in 4 straight games. Like, put him in your lineup, Gabe Davis. So Guru, good there. Sky Moore, no, bad. Not good. Tight end's a very tough position. If Logan Thomas is still on your waiver wire, go get him and play him. If Dalton Schultz is for some reason on your waiver wire, go get him and play him as well. Those are kind of the two kind of outlier or kind of guys that, you know, people aren't talking much about. Zach Ertz as well, that you would go out there and you would play. That's about it there. And then defenses this week. I think defenses, you've got some very good matchups for 1 week play. If you picked up Miami last week, roll them again this week against Carolina. You like the Eagles against the Jets, the Bills against the Giants, Bills against the Giants, Ravens against the Titans, Chiefs against Denver on Thursday night. Those are the Ds that I like this week as well.
I mean, the primetime stuff is brutal.
Well, we're going to watch
it doesn't matter. We'll watch. But you got one tonight.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yep.
Kansas City, I think 10.5. You've got
Bills-Giants.
Bills-Giants is Sunday or Monday? Monday's good. Monday's okay.
Monday is
Cowboys-Chargers. Okay.
That's a good one.
I like watching Brandon Staley do dumb things, so that's a win.
You got to stay up late, though, because that usually happens in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that'll be a late ad on that side of things.
Is that a Manning cast? Because that could be interesting.
No.
Oh, really?
I think they did 2 in a row. I don't believe that it is.
That sucks.
Hold on.
That would have been a fun Manning cast, them responding to Staley. Yeah. I would have loved that.
I think they're off. Let's see. Manning cast schedule. Here we go. They are off this week. They will be back the following for Niners, Vikings, then off a week, back for Chargers, Jets. I mean, these games all should have been so good. Then they go Broncos, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, Bengals, Jaguars, Chiefs, Patriots. What's the best? Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch.
That's bad, but that's a lot of bad.
And then Bengals, Jags, so that you don't get a good game that they're Manning casting, because Niners, Vikings without Jefferson isn't as good as you would have liked. Chargers, Jets, unless the Jets get Kirk Cousins, not as good as you'd like. Broncos, Bills, gross. And then it ends with Chiefs, Patriots, their last one.
I feel like in past years there was 1 or 2 teams that got overscheduled for the prime time.
Yeah, it's happened.
Always.
Yes,
but
not 6.
There is an insane number of teams not living up to expectations.
They bet big. Everybody in television bet big on the Patriots. They bet big on the Jets. They bet big on Broncos and Giants off of the postseason, and they're all suck. That's just the reality of it. Thursday night tonight we'll do the scores a little bit later, but you have the Chiefs hosting the Broncos. This is the last time the Broncos won in Kansas City. Peyton Manning was the quarterback. It's been a minute.
Jeez Louise.
Since that's been the case.
Yep.
So we'll do it later. It feels to me like Broncos huge is what it seems like to me for later.
Kelsey playing?
Feels huge.
Like real or on
the scores, like the Thursdays. Yeah, Broncos huge. It's a Thursday.
Huge.
Huge.
Wipe the floor with them.
Not only is Kelsey playing, your girl, T Swift, is
in the house.
In the house.
In the house.
Yep, she's in the house. It is one of the great misses of my life that I had no idea that she was some combination of the Beatles and Michael Jackson and Madonna all rolled into one.
Yep.
I had no clue.
Yep.
No clue how big of a deal she was. Hey, Browns fans, visit your local Tide Cleaners this October for a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Browns home game. Automatically entered to win with any purchase. We'll do the matchup on the other side of it. Our offense versus the Niners defense coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Roof on your home. Never replace your roof again with their new home exteriors replace once for life warranty. This month, with the purchase of a new roof, get free installation on a solar-powered attic fan to help take the load off your AC unit in the summer and keep your attic venting properly. Install today and save with no interest for 24 months. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit renewestimate.com for more. Now let's head to the podium. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt.
You're down.
Who's going to be playing quarterback? How challenging has it been this week?
It's always, it's challenging when you're not sure, for sure. But that's part of our business. It's nothing new for any coach. You just roll with it and get your, who's available, get those guys ready to go and put a plan together that hopefully makes them successful on Sunday.
PJ looked? Kevin was saying yesterday that he's grasping things and can come along well.
Yeah, he looks good. He throws the ball really well. I liked him coming out when I was in Green Bay. We were talking about our visit he had up to Green Bay earlier before the draft. I always thought he was a really good quarterback, so I followed him through my time of evaluating him in college and through his career. I think he does a nice job.
Are you sure who's playing quarterback Sunday?
Oh, no, I don't think so. That's the thing. It's up in the air, but we'll see. Obviously, if Deshaun can make it, that'd be great. And if he can't, then PJ will be just fine. So we're ready for either scenario.
Make it any easier might not be the right word, but knowing you might be going with PJ rather than that Baltimore game you didn't know until.
Yeah, I think it gives the guys opportunity to have a feeling maybe I'm going Sunday as opposed to I'm not sure right up into game time. So he'll have time. All of our guys should prepare as if they're starters. That's kind of how we preach in the quarterback room. Everybody's starting this week, so everybody should be prepared equally.
At what point does it become an issue where he hasn't practiced now for three? This will be the third. Is it third week? Yeah. That it's going to take him some time to kind of reacclimate if it's 3, 4, 5 weeks of practice.
Got to get him going. So as soon as he can get back and be out there and be available, he's doing everything he can, in the rehab process. It's just tough for him. He's a thrower, and it's a shoulder injury. It's like you wouldn't put a running back out there on the field if you couldn't run full speed. So it's kind of just got to wait till that thing gets healed up and he feels good about it and we all feel good about it. But, he's doing everything he can. He's going to have to, he'll have to catch up, but we're not waiting. We got to go.
How has Dorian responded after that?
Great. Yeah, he's a team guy all the way through. I wish he'd had a better experience on Sunday, but it's a learning experience for him. He's got a bright future moving forward. But, he's taking it like a champ. He's going to do everything to help PJ or Deshaun get ready, whoever goes this Sunday. But, he's learning how to be a pro, but the arrow's still up.
It looks like there's a chance that Joel Bitonio might not be able to play this game. Obviously 102 straight games, he hasn't missed a snap. What impact would it have on you if you don't have Joel out there?
Yeah, we're going to next man up mentality, as you know. If he doesn't make it, then we'll fill his spot. Anytime you miss a Pro Bowl player, obviously it's a big hole to fill. But we'll do a good job getting the guys ready if he's not available.
I know you guys spent a lot of the offseason trying to get explosive plays into the pass game. Like that's an area you thought you struggled with last year.
Right.
And it hasn't been great so far. How do you go about fixing it?
Yeah, you just got to keep your nose to the grindstone on that, and just keep coming up with scheme and to push the ball down the field, finding ways to get guys open, and finding explosives out there. This defense is tough. They don't give up a lot of explosives, so they make you earn your way down the field. So we'll see how it goes this weekend. But we're always looking for explosives. We have them up every week. A lot of it's just it's the luck of the call too. You're calling a play that's built for this coverage, hoping to get it that they've played, and then they show a different coverage, and you're checking the ball down. So a lot of those decisions are made by how the defense plays as well. But they're definitely on the call sheet.
Kevin said that one of the goals is to get more from the run offense. So it's easy to say that's what you want to do, but how do you do it?
We have good coaches. Obviously, our scheme, we got to scheme them. Our guys got to play well. We got to block them. We got to run. There's not real magic to it. We've had some good looks. There should be more there in the run game. We expect to be better in the run game than we have been the last few weeks. And I think, our history here is we can run the football. So just getting back on track there with the run game. Obviously, losing Nick is a big part of that. A lot of yards after contact, broke a lot of tackles, did a lot of things. Superhuman that Nick is. So finding a way to get those replacement yards, and we just got to be more diligent in the run game and work a little harder.
DeJuan's going to make his fourth start, and he starts with T.J. Watt. He gets Nick Bosa this week.
Yeah.
Just, how has he you seen him sort of respond to these kind of challenges?
Yeah, he's not backed down from anybody. He's a big man in his own right. He can hold his own on the edge. He's done a good job, especially in pass protection. But he's still, again, a rookie that's in there that's learning all the nuances of playing tackle in the NFL. But we continue to get better each week. I think we'll be in good shape there.
What concern is Jerome's knee injury as you guys head into this game?
None. No.
The 49ers defense is built around the kind of like your guys is, and what kind of challenge is that for an offensive line that has had its ups and downs?
Yeah, that's a really good group. There's no doubt about it. Probably one of the top front sevens in the NFL, if not the. They're big, they're strong, they're long. The front four is awesome. Fred Warner is, in my opinion, one of the top 2 linebackers in the league, playing at an extremely high level. So huge challenge for us. We talked about challenges early in the week, this being one of them, but it's also an opportunity. We get to go out and play these guys and give it our best effort. But that's a good defense. We know we have a challenge ahead of us again, but I'm just encouraged these guys look at the opportunity. We got some chances. We're going to have chances to make some plays. We got to make them.
Deshaun Watson's shoulder injury presents, but how much of it has been maybe a learning experience for you guys too, with the way that injury doesn't have a set timetable, it's just kind of waiting around? How much has that helped you guys kind of figure out game planning around that?
Yeah, I think it helps a little bit, but I mean that's the nature of all injuries. In the NFL, it may be a week, it could be linger to 3, for everybody, not just Deshaun. So just being able to be flexible and again putting your guys, whoever's available, in the best positions to win is what we're focused on.
Alex, how helpful is how Amari Cooper communicates with the quarterbacks, especially with PJ, as he's gone through taking reps this week, but just kind of their communication style this week?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be great. They have to be on the same page. How are we going to attack certain coverages, certain corners, things like that, and that's always a conversation that goes right up through the game. And doesn't end until after the game on Sunday. But very good. Amari's really good at his communication, brings clean, good communication when he says something. It is what it is. So just keeping that line of communication open all the way through the game.
How did you guys land on Harrison Bryant as your designated sneaker?
We drew straws. I don't know. He's done some emergency stuff on Saturdays for us and thought that he gave us an opportunity to get a bigger body in there that could push the pile and take the snap.
There's a lot of conversation about the Eagles' brotherly shove there, where they just kind of all pile behind the quarterback and shove him forward. What's your thoughts on that play? Is it safe, and is that something that you have looked at that you think might work here too?
Yeah, no, we've discussed it, and I think analytics would tell you it's not that much more successful than a regular sneak. It's new, obviously, but as more data comes back on it, I'm not sure where the injuries lie on those types of sneaks, but I think we've been pretty effective here just sneaking it normally.
Alex Van Pelt, time for the matchup presented by Bally Bet, sports betting partner. That wasn't intentional, but it came across that way. Our offense.
Well, I thought maybe we were going to get a commercial break to gather ourselves.
No, you got to do some heavy lifting. Dr. Z.
I don't know what he missed when I said it during the break.
I just think the
came
realities
coming back from break, and then I told you in segment. We're doing the matchup.
I just think the realities of this also help elicit.
Get it together, Z. We got a game on Sunday.
We got to sit here and do this show in front of Nick Chubb. He's right there on the wall.
Not playing.
But he looks good on the wall.
He looks great on the wall.
Okay. The 49ers. They are the number 3 total defense, the number 2 rushing defense. They are the number 12 passing defense. They have 8 interceptions. That is first in the NFL. They are pretty good. They are pretty good. By the way, you didn't get this stat yesterday. You ready for this one?
Yep.
The Niners have trailed for 1 minute and 45 seconds this year. That is third fewest after 5 games in 4 decades. The other 4 in the top 5 all made the Super Bowl. 3 of them won it. And I believe the only team that didn't win it was the 2007 Patriots that went undefeated. So they're in pretty good company there. Niners, number 1 scoring defense. They're the number 2 scoring offense. They're the number 1 scoring defense. They have got all pros at all 3 levels of their defense. They will run a defense that's going to look familiar to Browns fans. They are going to be aggressive with their front. They've got linebackers who fly around to the ball. They're obviously led up front by Nick Bosa, the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, who had 18.5 sacks to lead the NFL a year ago. They've got Javon Hargrave, who was their big free agent signing. They actually outbid the Browns for Hargrave's services. He leads the team with 3 sacks so far this season. Eric Armstead, a former first-round pick as well. They've got Cleveland Ferrell, also a former first-round pick. Drake Jackson, a second-round pick. Randy Gregory, a second-round pick. Javon Kinlaw, a former first-round pick. So their defensive line in their top 2, 4, 6 is all first rounders and second rounders. Hargrave's a third rounder, but I mean at this point he's so elite it doesn't matter. Was a Pro Bowler in 2021, last year 11 sacks, career high. So they're loaded there. Then they've got Sione Takitaki's teammate at BYU, Fred Warner, drafted the year before, same round, who is probably the best inside linebacker in football. He or Roquan Smith, one of the two. We'll face them back-to-back weeks. They also have Dre Greenlaw, who last year had 127 tackles alongside Warner, who has been a monster. He has 5 straight 100-tackle seasons. Probably the best inside linebacking tandem in the NFL, and again, the next closest would probably be the Ravens with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. If there is a weakness, I think it is the corners. On one side, they have Charvarius Ward. He's got 6 career interceptions. He's played very well this year. He's got a pass breakup in 4 of the 5 games this season. On the year, he's got 5 passes defense. That ties our own Denzel Ward for 10th in the NFL. The other side, though, it's Diamador Lenore, and he was a former 5th-round pick in 21. This is somebody I think the Browns can get after a little bit on that side. Smaller corner, 5'10". You know, we've got some size advantage on the outside against him. He's given up 72% completion so far this year, 77 rating. The other corner is Isaiah Oliver, and this is who I think the Browns have to attack. He's given up 80% completion so far this year, 87.3 rating when targeted. And then Ambry Thomas, a young man out of Michigan who was a former third-rounder in 2021, he's given up 80% completions and a 98 rating, which is the highest on the entire team. So wherever Ambry Thomas or Isaiah Oliver are, that's where I think the ball needs to go. And then Lenore, I think you can attack as well. Their safeties are very good. Talanoa Hufanga, who was a first-team All-Pro a year ago. By the way, 5th-round pick. Knows 5th-round picks on their teams. Hufanga is a 5th-round pick, All-Pro. Dre Greenlaw is a 5th-round pick who's been a monster. Kittle's a 5th-round pick.
Jeez.
Of their own.
Yeah.
Of their own doing. He's been really good. And then they have Tashawn Gibson, the former Brown, who's got 33 career interceptions, which is 3rd most among all active players, behind only Pat Pete and Harrison Smith. Had an interception last week against Dallas, his first of the season. He's allowing 0 rating in coverage so far this year. He's had a very nice career and was a Pro Bowler with the Browns back in the day. So that's their D. The scheme is going to be 4. It's a 4-3. It's going to be a lot of 4-2-5. They're going to play a lot of nickel at you. In fact, you look at their nickel percentage, 81%. That is 5th most in the league. They only play base defense 18% of the time, so not often. They're going to be a zone team, zone heavy. They play zone 80% of the time, 8th most in the league. They mix middle of the field, open, middle of the field, close basically 50-50. The Browns, meanwhile, by contrast, are middle field to close 3/4 of the time. So that's what they do. Now, how have teams been able to attack them? Well, guess what? They really haven't. No running back. How about this stat for you?
All right.
No running back has run for 100 yards against the 49ers in fill-in-the-blank straight games.
12.
32.
32?
32 straight games.
Yeesh.
Nobody has run for 100 yards against this team. If you're looking at, okay, what's happened good so far this year? No running backs rushed for 55 yards against them so far this season. In fact, they're giving up just 43 yards per game to running backs, 3.7 yards a carry. No tight end has gotten to 60 yards against them. So they've done a good job on tight ends. They have allowed no tight end touchdowns since week 1 when Pat Freiermuth had that unbelievable stat line of 1 catch, 3 yards, and a touchdown. Wide receivers have scored in 2 straight games. That's good. They've only allowed 1 100-yard receiver this year. That was Puka Nacua, who went for 147. No coincidence that they've only allowed 1 300-yard passer. That was Matt Stafford with 307 in week 3. They've only allowed 1 quarterback with 2 or more touchdowns. That was Josh Dobbs, 265 and 2 in a blowout loss to the 49ers. So far, 3 quarterbacks have been held below 250 yards passing, 2 quarterbacks below 175. They've allowed 5 passing touchdowns with 8 interceptions on the season. Now, they are giving up 65% completions, but it's those 8 interceptions that have really got them, and really, they haven't allowed quarterbacks to run very much at all. Dobbs had 48 yards, no other quarterback above 20 yards. They're good, they're sound, they take the football away. They've got, as I mentioned, Nick Bosa, who was the Defensive Player of the Year. We talked about Gibson already. Javon Hargrave, who's got 21.5 sacks since the start of the 21 season. He's 24 pressures this year, second among all defensive tackles in the NFL. So they've got it all. They are very good all 3 levels. I do think that nickel you can get after the nickel in the corner. That's where you're going to have to we're going to have to throw the football to win this game. I mean, running it is going to be a tall order.
There you go. There's your matchup. We'll hit you with the mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Hi.
Supplies Plus, giving you the chance to win tickets to home games all season long while providing the best deals for your pet at over 75 stores throughout Ohio. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/pet supplies plus. Receive a coupon to use your local store with your entry. Pet Supplies Plus, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the mailbag presented by the Cross Country Mortgage Company, the official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, they're going to have you and get you in your home. Visit ccm.com today. Equal housing opportunity, MLS 3029.
All right, I'm going to each give you guys one opportunity to fill in the blank. Tyreek Hill, this is from Joe Shad, just said the following about Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool looks like a blank out there.
Rhinoceros.
No.
Sad.
It is an inanimate object.
Tool?
I would go that direction.
Tyreek Hill says, Chase Claypool looks like a vending machine out there.
A vending machine? Oh, it's like because he's huge?
Nobody knows what it means. As
Or wide?
Ian Hart says, nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative. I don't know what it means either.
Did you see McDaniel's presser yesterday about it? He goes, I know you guys are going to ask me about him. I know what you want me to say, so I'll just say it. He's fast. And he just winks at the guy. That's his whole new thing now. He looks at the reporter, says something funny, and then just winks and points at him.
So great. I mean, that video was circulating of when Kyle called that play for Johnny to act like he was coming off the field, and then it's to see like Mike McDaniel like right over his shoulder. It's crazy. Yeah.
And McDaniel's acting.
Yeah. Crazy. You knew Mike here? A little bit at least?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys knew him? You saw him around and stuff? Because was he
was
like
great.
one of the guys who was in the mix? Circulating,
No,
or was he
was
more like low-key?
Yes, kind of low-key, kept to himself, very unique. Like when I'd interview him, like the stories and things he would talk about were so just out of left field.
Yeah.
Like it would be like an Ultimate Warrior promo where he's like, do you want me to lie down and be trampled by elephants? Do you want me to lie on the grass and be run over by a million lawnmowers? He'd be talking about like lions, and he was a very unique guy, but very bright and very funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he part of that group that went to Vegas?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
We won't talk about that.
Well, you did. So. But yes.
Let's get into it. Tweet your questions to @Browns_daily. We've got a lot of them. Robert said, please share what a normal practice day is like in Berea. What time do players arrive? Meetings, position group only, offense, defense, how long in the wait room? I'm not going to go through like a time by time, but they're here early.
Early. There'll be a walkthrough, probably. I don't know exactly how long they're allowed to be, but that's how long it is. Maybe 10:30 to 11:20 or something like that.
11:15.
11:15. There'll be a walkthrough. Then they'll have lunch and lift, and then there'll be practice, which is happening right now. That'll end around 3.
More meetings.
More meetings, and then they probably have dinner, and then they probably get out of here at 6, 7-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say by 6 o'clock they're usually wrapped up on a Thursday.
Yeah,
on a Thursday.
But they're here by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I used to come here in the morning, that's when they were rolling in right as I was.
Yeah.
Grab some breakfast and then.
Yeah, every
and I was
coach is
usually here
different
by
how
8
they
o'clock.
do it.
Yeah.
But Wednesday and Thursday are long days. By Friday, I think even the coaches, I think everybody's gone for the most part by 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Players for sure. So.
Kevin Seifert with an interesting one just came across my timeline. Justin Jefferson just jogged through the Vikings locker room, and his jog is my sprint. He looked pretty spry. Thus ends my rehab coverage for today, and he's on IR.
So why would they?
I'm sure he was not playing till he's 100%. He's trying to get that contract. I'm sure that they're fine right now where they are, being like, okay. You know,
if things go south for a few weeks, that just helps us in our quest maybe to get one of those top picks.
Yeah.
Well, not for us. For them.
For them.
Yeah, for them.
Well, yeah, not for us. Let's see. Brady obviously won the Patriots divorce, but was one party, Bill versus Brady, more essential to the dynasty than the other? This is from Love a Dog today.
I think you answered the question with the first part. Yeah. Go look at Belichick when Brady is not his quarterback. And he was great here. I'm not saying that he's not great, Joe explains it best. The difference between Belichick and other coaches is less than the difference between Brady and other quarterbacks significantly. That's really the best way to think of it, is that Brady is the quarterback elevates so much more than a coach will.
Of course.
There are a few exceptions to that, but
players play.
Many players play. By the way, they are at Raiders.
Yeah,
so that's
it's Nance
McDaniel.
and Romo again.
Jeez, put those guys in a body bag. That's McDaniel, former apprentice, former coach in waiting, it felt like.
Yes.
That's Garoppolo, who they drafted to replace Brady. And Tom Brady is part of some ownership with the Raiders. I don't know if that eventually went all the way through, but
I don't know. I think it's still going
kind
through
of
some
gray
red
area.
tape.
But like he very likely could be there too. All the while, did you see the report that any notion that Kraft won't fire Belichick is nonsense? That he's grown tired of it anyway, and that
I think that this is the year.
This is the year. It's done. Yeah,
agreed.
Jersey Dog with an interesting question. During the game, when is the best time for the dog pound to become the loudest to disrupt the 49ers? As they huddle, when they come to the line of scrimmage?
Line of scrimmage, their communication, stop them from
in fact,
being able
be
to run
quiet
these
until
motions.
then. One of the mistakes that
Save
I see a lot, whether it's here or other, even at Buckeye games and stuff, is like they're really loud in the huddle. Forget that. They're so small you could hear anything in there. That's not it. It's line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage.
Build to the line of scrimmage. Then save yourself and then build again.
Crescendo.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. This is from Colton. Are we still in on Jaleel McLaughlin tonight?
Oh, the Broncos
fantasy.
back.
Fantasy. So there's a lot of wind there, so it could be more of a run or short pass game. Javonte Williams is going to play. I'm not playing him because he's been – it's like they just refuse to let him breathe like they're finally doing with Breece Hall there with the Jets. I mean, McLaughlin, you can play him as a flex. I have no problem with that. I have no idea how they're going to use those guys, and they've used P. Ryan as well, so it's not an ideal situation.
Let's see. Bobby time.
Bobby! Bobby!
Bobby says, are the Browns cursed? What animal do I have to sacrifice to end it?
A bird of some
He's
sort.
Sacrificing a live chicken in the locker room.
See? That's fine. It's totally fine.
Totally fine.
Sacrifice a bird. Maybe it flips it around. There's too many of them anyway in the world.
Agreed.
Favorite Pedro moment so far on this
Oh,
trip?
my God. Would favorite be the way to put it?
There are so many. There are so many. And I believe we'll have a treat for you. I believe he'll be here tomorrow.
Celebrity
in
picker.
studio.
Celebrity guest picker.
Yep.
Perhaps
What
a
could
second
go
trial
wrong?
of Pedro.
Yep.
Perhaps.
Favorite? You're not going to answer that, by the way. It's okay if you don't. Favorite Halloween candy?
Just
we can move on.
Having him be here.
There
Actually,
you
is what happened during our pool game yesterday was my favorite moment.
Victory.
That's right.
Favorite Halloween candy. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that there
You're
are.
gonna poo-poo this like you do clam bakes?
No, I love Halloween.
All
I
right.
do think it's like Halloween is apex in this part of the country. Like where I grew up, Halloween was something that was like the day of.
Yeah.
But like here, it's like everybody decorates for it for a month.
Yeah.
It's the
It is-
biggest deal
it's
in the
almost
world.
as big as Christmas
Yeah,
now.
yeah. It's nuts. I mean, I got a pumpkin count inside my house upwards of 1,000. I don't even know where the hell my wife keeps finding them.
Amazon
but
keeps delivering.
she's all locked into them, and I see it everywhere. So it feels like whatever Apex Halloween is, it happens right here. This is my one thing on this. I know that you feel like the idea is that if you give the big candy bar, that's a win. But if you want to give that size to be a big shot, give 3 minis. Just give because no kid is going to sit there and chomp on a Baby Ruth.
Yes.
On a full size. So just get a bunch of littles and give them that. Then they're little treats versus sitting. No kid's eating a full candy bar now, man.
No, but
You're
the
not
quality
letting your
and
kid at 9
it feels
o'clock
like
at
the
night
quality in a full is often better than the.
Is it? I don't
Sometimes.
know. I don't know. It
I
feels
don't
like
know.
all of the Snickers operation is the same.
I would take. There's only 3 things that I'm interested in: Snickers, and I don't need any of these on with any
a
regularity.
frozen Snickers is a nice, delightful
yeah.
Greatest
treat.
ice
Yeah.
cream
You can
treat.
It's very good.
Snickers, a Reese's peanut butter cup, even the small gold ones, delightful, and a Butterfinger. That's all I like.
Yeah, I like the Reese's Pieces a lot. I'll go.
Oh,
for
Reese's
those. I like
Pieces
the
are-
Pieces better than the cups.
See, and I like
Amen.
Skittles. I
100%.
You like candy,
I like that
candy.
stuff.
You like
Yeah.
candy.
You like
I don't
candy.
eat candy.
Yeah, candy,
Yep,
candy.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Do drinking fountains freak you out? I don't know.
Freak me out's too strong. I'm even as a kid, I remember like if I would see somebody, because now the kids all take their water jugs with them to school. Like we never did that as kids. Like there was just a fountain, and you'd get in a line to get a drink out of the fountain, and the water would spew, and you'd go, and there were many times I'd look kind of side-eyed at somebody ahead of me and going like, "Am I sure I really want to follow that?"
Maybe there's another drinking fountain around.
Is there another one? Inevitably, there would not be. But I'm not crazy about it.
Do you prefer dress pants or joggers? Good question.
Both.
Both. I like, and then I like
Merged.
them to be the same. Yes,
Merged.
I don't mind a casual jogger like I have on today, but I like a good.
Hey, how you liking those?
I do. I like them.
Okay.
Very
All
much.
right. Very
Yeah,
good.
they're very good.
All right.
I'd like it. I think it needs to be tighter at the bottom.
It's a little loose at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a very, very comfortable fabric.
That was an L?
This was a no. The X had to go up. The L was not enough.
Do you have
depends on your perspective.
Well,
Might have been just enough.
Right.
Do you have
Maybe
a
too
favorite
much.
Dairy Queen Blizzard flavor? Oreo.
I like the banana cream pie.
Banana cream pie.
A lot.
100%.
That's it. Really?
Do you know who used to get when we would this is going way back when we would watch a WWE pay-per-view or WWF pay-per-view back then, and S would come over with the doctor, and he would always bring a Dairy Queen, and that's what I always would get, would be the banana cream pie.
Fantastic.
It's delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oreo's very good too. Sometimes I'll throw a Nana in the Oreo.
Yeah.
Real quick, we have like 30 seconds. Jim Reams.
He had
Has the nightmares
Jimmy
of the 44
Bang Bang.
stop for Z yet? I would have taken his money.
Please. Give me my solo.
Give him his camera.
Let me look right into the camera right now, Jimmy Bang Bang. You know better than anybody you'd rather be my partner than against me, because all I do, call me DJ Khaled, all I do is win, baby. Won that day too, for the record.
For the record. We get you a score.
Good work, Griff.
Griff crushed it. Get you a score coming up next. So much more to come. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show. Z, Gerard, 7 to 8 Paninis in Brunswick. Stop out. Meet DeJuan Jones. Big Thanos. It's brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to Sunday. Easy to enjoy.
By the way, just received a text from Jimmy.
1 minute.
Okay.
Love it. And yes, you're correct. Rather have you as a teammate. That's right, Jimmy. Let's go. When he hits a
Thursday
putt,
night football, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, we got to score.
Broncos, Chiefs
Huge.
from Kansas City.
Revenge. It's personal for Sean Payton.
personal. Broncos.
Personal.
Massive.
Sure you got this one right, Z? You sure you know how this works?
We know how it works. We took
No,
the
I
L
don't know.
last
You were
week.
questioning it earlier.
No, we took. I got
Huge.
30.
Won't even be close.
Them by more
Why
than
show
11.
up, Pat?
Yeah.
Why show up, Pat Mahomes?
Because Taylor's going to be there. That's why you show up.
There you go.
By the way, it's always good to have a partner named Jimmy Bang Bang because when he hits a big play, you go, bang, bang.
Oh, I like that. I like Jimmy Bang Bang.
Bang.
Right. I like that.
He's got a new book. He bought a book where he
15.
reads. He's got all the green things
Oh,
on it.
he's really dialed in.
He's really good with it, except when he reads it upside down, and then he thinks it's breaking right, but it's really breaking left.
Sad.
Jimmy!
Next level's next. Cleveland Rosale, 850 ESPN Cleveland.